What are some misconceptions that graduate students have about the specialization of finance, so beyond investment banking and fintech? What are some lesser known but highly rewarding career paths that are available for finance graduates?
Start with reading business papers.
In the age of big data and AI, how has the curriculum of finance evolved, and what are some skills that are essential for the modern finance profession?
You can't ignore the technology that's coming in. There's a lot of work that we used to do in finance that now can be done using AI, using technology. Excel, you obviously have to know. Networking, I think it's a very loose word in my view, but every opportunity where you speak to someone, you should consider it an interview for yourself.
So finance today isn't just about numbers, it's about vision, leadership, and creating impact. Hello everyone, welcome to the special edition of our podcast. I'm Dhanashri Sawant, a second year PGDM finance student, and it's a privilege to be a host today. Today, I'm honored to be in conversation with Mr. Rajat Mathur sir, Senior Advisor at Morgan Stanley, a TEDx speaker, advisory board member to universities, startups, and enterprises. With a remarkable career, including leadership roles like executive director, managing director at Morgan Stanley. He brings unparalleled insights into investment, technology, and future of finance. Sir, it's a privilege to have you here with us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. So, sir, my first question is, what are some misconceptions that graduate students have about the specialization of finance, and while what are the reality of pursuing it?
So I think the biggest misconception I think that exists is that finance is all about either investment banking or being on the trading floor. Unfortunately, that's what all of the Hollywood movies that are based on Wall Street talk about. But I think finance is a lot broader. Finance fundamentally is about good decision making. You have to have the ability to do a number of things in finance. For example, you need to be able to know when and where you need to allocate resources. Risk is another very big or key item that's existing in finance, and finance professionals are involved with that. ESG investing is a very big area. So there are a whole host of other things that are coming up or are already in existence that students really need to start to explore beyond just pure banking or being on the trading floor. At the end of the day, I think it's a much wider platform that you need to see. So that's from a what is finance or what are the kind of careers in finance. The other very big myth that I want to sort of share at this point of time is that it's only for people that are strong in math.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true anymore. I think while it's an asset to be good with numbers, I think it's also important for people to understand that finance is also about decision making using those numbers, your ability to analyze those numbers. Today, you have lots of tools that will crunch the numbers for you. How you read that output is what is key for finance individuals. So, math required, but not essential.
Yes, sir. So I think this will definitely change the perspective of our audience, like they have what the misconception of finance. Going to the next question. So for a student who is graduating and considering a career in non-financial field like tech or healthcare, so how can a postgraduate in finance give a competitive edge to that career? What are your thoughts about it?
So finance is not limited to industry, right? If you sort of look at the broader finance aspects that I described, you could sort of apply it anywhere, right? And it actually gets applied anywhere. Every organization has a finance department, right? And they do different aspects and different things within that. So I think that's something that's very important to realize. You may be in operations, you may be in product management, it doesn't matter. The finance background helps, right? So using this as the background, you can really, really build your career on a whole host of other things which are affiliated to finance, but not necessarily core finance. So my advice again to students is that, start with building your fundamentals, making sure that you understand what finance means, what are some of the terms and terminologies in finance, and then you can build your career anywhere that you want.
Yeah. So as you said that there are some misconceptions and finance is required in every field. So most of the students think that finance is all about only accounting. And if we go in finance, we'll only get the jobs in finance, banking or accounting. So what are your thoughts on that?
I can name 2 or 3 that I think students should explore again. Investor relations is a very good example, right? It sort of sits on the cusp of understanding finance, but also client relationship management. I think that's an important one. ESG, I mentioned that in the beginning. ESG is another area that you could absolutely use. Risk management, right? Today, risk management, risk mitigation is a significant portion of what finance individuals do. That's another area. So just off the top of my head, I can basically tell you about 3 different things. I'm sure there are more. And as you sort of do a little bit of research, you will find a lot more. But here's your starting list of 3.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. It was really insightful. So, sir, beyond investment banking and fintech, what are some lesser known but highly rewarding career paths that are available for finance graduate?
The 3 that I mentioned. I think you look at ESG investing, you look at risk management, risk mitigation. These 2 are very clearly things that are happening. I would think that there are others, but these would be fundamentally what they should be looking at.
So, sir, as you mentioned the 3 career paths, so which one path is there, like which are that is poised to be grow in the next 5 years? Like if you want to do it from risk management or ESG, that investor relations.
If you were to ask me to bet on one of them, I would bet on risk management. Okay. With all that's happening with AI, with all that's happening from a technology standpoint, I would think risk management is probably the one area where a lot of companies are going to put a lot of resources in.
And so, how does a postgraduate finance level education equips a student with a skill to navigate the complex economy landscape and market volatility?
So my view is that any education that you do with finance as the domain essentially equips you to have a better understanding of what's happening in the financial markets, right? Other than sort of teaching you the basics, which is obviously very important to do. Once you're able to appreciate and understand what's happening in the macro environment, you're able to understand what's happening on the economy, you're able to understand when a policy decision gets taken, what's the impact on economy, I think you'll become better finance professionals. So the education is only building the basics, clearing the fundamentals. But there's a lot more reading and research that I would think finance professionals need to be doing, finance students need to be doing on a regular basis to really be able to understand and appreciate how the broader macro environment is working.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, reading is most important. So can you suggest some material books or podcasts that a finance student should listen to and adapt it to in their daily life?
Start with reading business papers. I think fundamentally, if you read some of the business newspapers that come on an everyday basis, and you go through the headlines, you'll be able to keep pace with what's happening in the industry. There are some really nice articles over there that talk about or analyze what's happening in the market. Read those. Read the editorials. That is your starting point, right? Should you be following some of the Bloomberg reports or Wall Street Journal reports? Absolutely. That's an add-on. But start with the basics. Start with reading the business newspapers.
Yes. So also I wanted to ask, in the age of big data and AI, so how has the curriculum of finance evolved, and what are some skills that are essential for the modern finance professional?
You can't ignore the technology that's coming in,
Yeah.
right? You can't fight it either. So your only option is to use it or leverage it. What do I mean by that? I mean that there's a lot of basic work that we used to do in finance that now can be done using AI, using technology. What you need to evolve towards is sort of jump that to be able to analyze what the machine is producing, and be able to provide sound advice to business leaders using that data. The machine can do it at a certain level. It will throw the numbers at you. It will give you beautiful charts and everything else. But after that, it needs a human intervention to be able to really translate that and speak to the business units about it. So my view is start building that skill.
Yeah.
Focus on reading the numbers or reading the output of the numbers that the machines are creating. And you have to leverage machines, because the more time, the larger the organization, the more data you have, the more time it will take you if you decide to crunch the numbers.
Yeah.
You've got machines that can do it in a minute, right? So start focusing on leveraging the output rather than sort of trying to create that output anymore.
And so according to you, what are some tools that are like mostly there in the industry right now that a graduate or finance professional should know?
Well, you start with Excel.
Yeah.
But, I think languages like Python are important. Learning how to run Tableau or understanding how to run Tableau, Power BI. These are tools that are available. There are plenty of tools. I'm just naming a couple that I am aware of. But there are plenty of tools like this that you have to master. Excel, you obviously have to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that not for anything else, but that sort of gets you better and better at doing and looking at numbers in a very logical manner, right? Now, some of the Excel formulae, etc., are now available, and machines can do that for you. But I think basic sound understanding of Excel is I think still a very critical aspect of tooling.
Yes, sir, right. And so, can you please share an experience or a specific example of a time when the deep financial understanding was crucial for the success of a project?
So I don't know it firsthand, but I'll give you an example of someone who shared this incident with me. So he works for a relatively large manufacturing setup, and when COVID happened,
Yeah.
there was a decision to be made about whether they should shut down that factory because the orders had come down, or continue with the factory. And obviously the first reaction was, we don't have orders, we're not producing anything, therefore we should just close the factory and shut down and sell all the equipment. But then he said to me, the finance guys got involved, and they did a cost benefit analysis of whether it made sense to shut down and deal with the costs of severance and payouts and machinery write-offs, etc., or they should just keep it going and hope and when COVID finishes and it picks up again, that they would be able to use the factory. So I thought that was a very key decision that finance made for keeping it. In the end, it turned out that it was better to make a decision to keep the factory rather than shut it down.
Okay, so it does play an important role.
Absolutely, every day. I think I've seen enough and more finance professionals spend a lot of time with senior management because their advice is based on data.
Yeah.
And if you have a strong finance leader, you are going to make better decisions.
So, right. Also, sir, how important do you think networking and alumni connections are for graduates in finance? And what are some effective ways to build those relationships?
I was doing a class just now,
Yes.
and one of the things I mentioned is the heavy reliance on referrals,
Yeah.
right? What is that? Why is that important? A lot of jobs today in companies are filled through referral programs. That means that if you know someone who can put your resume through, you're always at an advantage.
Yes.
Now, you've got your alumni, you've got people that have graduated from this institute over the last few years who are in reasonably good positions in a number of organizations. Imagine what could happen if they take your resume and put it in as a reference. You have a much better chance than applying cold,
Yeah.
right? So, in my view, if you use the alumni network and use the alumni network well, you could really draw a lot of advantage in terms of finding relevant, good jobs. So, use that well. Networking, I think it's a very loose word in my view. I think it's more important to sort of say relationship building.
Yeah.
Networking could be you say a hi and a bye, but the relationship is not there, and you may not get any credit for that. But if you focus on building a relationship, building an equation with individuals, then the likelihood is that you could really benefit from that. So it's not the quantity of LinkedIn connects that you have, it's the quality of the LinkedIn relationships or any other quote unquote networking relationships that you have.
Yes, sir. So, sir, does in your career, have there been a time where unconventional networking methods worked for you?
So I don't know what you define by unconventional,
Conventional
but I'm a constant networker, and I give this advice to students also. Every opportunity that you have to meet someone, use it.
Yeah.
You've gone out and you're sitting in the cafeteria, and you've got someone sitting there who's sitting there alone. Ask if you can sit with them and have a chat. You won't believe who all you could connect at the airports,
Yeah.
in the flight. I'm constantly checking. Maybe it's someone that's relevant. Maybe it's not. But if you're constantly at it, then it is. I say this, and I know it's very cliched, but every opportunity where you speak to someone, you should consider it an interview for yourself. And if you do that, you'll make a lot of connections.
Yes, sir. We will note that in our life. So, sir, as after graduation, most students are hesitant to change the field. So, what will be your advice to the graduate who don't have the traditional finance background but still interested in specializing the finance?
Learn the fundamentals. Focus on learning the fundamentals. Look, at the end of the day, this is not rocket science.
Yeah.
This is about making the effort. And unfortunately, because you're not from a finance background, you'll just have to make the effort a little bit more. But if you make the effort to understand the fundamentals, like I said right at the beginning, finance is about good decision making. It doesn't take much to be able to do that, provided you get your fundamentals strong and right.
Yes, sir. And so, sir, one last thing. Any advice you will want to give to all the students who are passing out of PGDM?
General advice, be patient. Your career is a 25, 30, 35-year run. You're going to have years where things will not go to plan. It's okay. You can come back on track if you make the effort to do that. So that's one. Two, this is an opportunity where you're in a college to strengthen your understanding of the financial domain. Leverage your professors, leverage the people that are coming in over here to really get a broader, better understanding of the domain, finance or otherwise, or for that matter, anything else. Three, make thoughtful decisions, right? Often we don't necessarily think of all of the consequences there are around our decisions, and sometimes end up making not so great decisions. And by the way, you will get some of your decisions wrong, and that is fine. But make thoughtful decisions. And I guess 4 is be a good human being.
Yeah.
Right? That's absolutely important.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So as we come to close this enlightening conversation, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to you, sir, for sharing your wisdom and experience with us. Your insights not only deepen our understanding, but also inspire us to think bigger, aim higher, and face the challenges ahead. So to our listeners, thank you for listening. Until next time, stay curious, stay ambitious, and keep striving for excellence. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.